Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video I'm going to be giving my review for We Wish You a Merry Christmas. This stars Marisol Nichols as Becca and Christopher Palaha as Robbie. This was, I can't remember if this was not Saturday nights or Sunday nights movie. I can't remember. I want to say this one might have been Saturday nights, and then Sunday night was a Kismet Christmas, I believe, because I know my Kismet review I couldn't remember, but I think this one was Saturday and then Kismet was Sunday. But anyways, that don't really matter really. But basically, Nichols and Palaha, if I'm saying his last name correctly, their characters Becky and Robbie are seeing a marriage counselor that they're into their marriage, and she sends them to this little getaway trip to this very small town where they stay at this hotel to try to, or even like a bed and breakfast, even if you want to call it, because it's so small, but to kind of reconnect and just fix their marriage. Once they're there, they end up both deciding that they wanted to leave, that there was no point in it, but then something happens, causes them to have to stay there, and so they end up having to stay and try to finish out the week, I think it is, that they're supposed to be there, while possibly trying to fix their marriage and come closer. I wasn't a fan of this one. I thought this, out of the 3 Hallmarks I watched, I thought this was definitely the weakest. I'm not a fan of Marisol Nichols' character, Marisol Nichols in this. I didn't like her acting in this. I felt it didn't flow. I thought there was a lot of, and I think why it didn't flow very well was they kept having so many awkward moments and stuff with pretty much a lot of people in the cast, because there was another storyline going on with this other couple, and it just, I don't know, it was a very awkward, very downer kind of a movie. There really wasn't, they kept basically trying to get along and trying to work it out, but at the same time it felt like Becca was her name. Yeah, it felt like she was not really trying. She kept trying to push him away and stuff, or not want to do it, not want to, fix anything, and Robbie was, and by the end of it, they do come together, but it's like I told my friend Noah, I said it felt like they more got back together because of their dog. Because the whole time it felt like they loved their dog more than each other in this movie. And I really didn't like it. It didn't flow well. The dog even, I know this is weird to talk about a dog's acting, if you will. I felt he was you could tell he was being cute a lot. You could tell it didn't feel like a natural performance, if you will, from a dog, an animal, which is probably odd, but when it's that noticeable, it kind of bothered me. There was other issues I had with it, with the story. There's a scene where they end up in this room with a lot of, it's in the trailer, I think. They end up in this room with a lot of different decorations and stuff, and the door shuts and they get locked in. I didn't understand how the door closed, because it slammed way too hard. I felt like for it to be the wind that blew it. And I didn't understand why it wouldn't open after it closed. Why, if it's a room that you can't open in once the door closes, then why is it standing wide open to begin with? If they're that against people going in there. And then at the end, there's something that happens that just didn't make sense. Like well, I'll just go ahead and say it because it's in the trailer. The reason they end up staying is because an ornament crashes through their windshield of their car and it has to be fixed. And she says it'll take about a week, maybe a little longer because of the holidays, which is an awful long time for a window. But towards the end, when they reconcile and everything, and they're back together finally, there's this other couple that's checking out as I think they're checking in because they decided to stay a little longer. And the couple that's checking out, they're there obviously for the same reason, and but they're once again, leaving because they don't want to try to fix the marriage. Well, when they walk out, the ornament again has fell through the window of the car to keep them there. And you see Becca and Robbie just sort of look at each other and just sort of like smile or whatever. And I'm thinking, if this is something they're doing on purpose to keep people there, that's very odd. You're damaging people's property to keep them. Granted, you're fixing it, but then again, are you charging them to fix something that you're doing? Because I just find it odd that it would happen again. So, to me, it felt like it was on purpose. If that's the case, then why that, to me, that just is not the correct move to do, because if somebody was to catch on, if this was real life and somebody was to catch on, you could be sued. So I don't know, it had aspects that was okay. I thought Palahoff, I'm saying his name correctly, I thought he did good in it. I liked his performance. It did have some good Christmas theming, but overall the story just wasn't fully working for me. I wanted more of, that's just Sissy's bus. I wanted more of like a Wedding of a Lifetime style movie where they go on this trip to fix their marriage, and they maybe some comedic stuff ensues to them, like little mishaps and stuff. Funny little things happen to them as they're trying to reconcile their marriage, and maybe that's what brings them closer together. But we didn't get that. It was definitely more of just a downer, kind of a awkward paced film. And overall, I gave it a 2.5 out of 5. If it worked for you, that's great. It was something different, so I'll give it that. But it just was not for me. Not one that I would watch again. If it does get a physical release, I think it got kind of mixed reviews, I think. So it may or may not get a physical when it comes that time, but we'll see. So, but yeah, 2.5 out of 5 for me on We Wish You a Merry Christmas. So that is everything for this review. So please comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell to be notified for our videos, and we'll see you all in the next one.